I'm gonna be honest, this video started as something very, very different. I was ready to release a full-on smackdown regarding all the drama from around a month ago, but I decided to take a touch longer before putting it out and go away, step back from everything for a while. I'm glad I did, because putting out that video wouldn't have been worth it. In the short term, yeah, views probably would have been great, but grand scheme of things, I get nothing from that type of video, you all sure as hell get nothing from that type of video, and all it'd do is reopen a can of worms that really shouldn't have been opened in the first place. So I changed the script, and this is what we now have. I am still going to touch on the community side of the drama, because that has been a long time coming at this point, and someone needs to be community dad. I respectfully raise my hand to do that, because apparently I'm the only person that has brain cells. That being said, I am going to completely leave all the creator stuff out of it. It's their personal bullshit, and I can't be bothered getting involved in that. Rather, this video is going to be talking about my plans for Genshin, other games I think would be fun to cover, and other things like that. So, g'day everyone, I'm the Immersive Fish, and welcome to whatever this thing is. First and foremost, let's go over the community drama stuff. To kick it off, the criticism being directed towards the video game Genshin Impact, that's not drama. While it may have started the drama, I think we should stop referring to it as part of the drama because it takes away from what actually happened. All we saw was people coming together to collectively push for better rewards and express frustration that's kind of been boiling since the game released. As far as I'm concerned, it's about bloody time. From an objective standpoint, when compared to Hoyo's other games, gacha in general, and the free-to-play landscape overall, Genshin just doesn't respect its players' time anywhere near as much when compared to those games. Gacha rates are bad, the weapon banner still sucks, and the reward pool tends to be smaller, while players have to put in more effort to get said rewards, with most of them being tied to both exploration and limited time events. On the gameplay front, again, from an objective standpoint, Genshin just hasn't added much permanent content when compared to its peers, and what has been added tends to only appeal to the casual community. Given so many aspects of the game tie into making characters stronger in combat, like artifacts, talent levels, weapons, and even constellations, I personally think that after 3 years of just having Abyss, wanting something else to do is more than justified. Especially when so much already exists to appeal to those who play casually, from the events, to the exploration, to the teapot, and TCG. I think there's two main points of animosity for the addition of new combat-oriented content. The first is the worry that anything new they add will be significantly harder than Abyss, which just doesn't need to be true. I don't think many people actually want that either. Rather, we just want something else to do that allows us to make use of characters and teams we've invested in. Something that poses a challenge, but in a different way to the time attack mode of Abyss, which everyone is pretty bored of by this point. I think an endless mode with scaling difficulty and no timer would be a fantastic way to do this, creating a unique environment focused more on consistent damage output and high survivability rather than being purely damage 100% of the time. That'd create new teams, new strategies, and I think would just generally be quite fun. The second point, with regard to why people tend to be against new content, is potentially missing out on the rewards associated with that, which, if anything, only helps to highlight the poor reward economy. That's the general gist of the criticism. I think the comments made during the 4.4 livestream about the 3 wishes being a gift for 3 years, while in line with a lot of stuff that Genshin has done before, just kind of ended up being a straw that broke the camel's back and set everything in motion. Now on to the actual drama side of things, and I say it like that because so much of what's occurred has just been completely childish bullshit that resembles an argument between middle schoolers rather than grown adults. Firstly, I don't think some people have realized this yet, but you can and should criticize things you like. Honest criticism and critique is rooted in a place of care and understanding. Someone who doesn't care will just say the thing is shit and move on. The people coming out with fair and genuine criticism of Genshin are doing it from a position of both care for the well-being of the game and experience with existing systems that they aren't happy with. They want to see the game improved, and they want to see certain aspects changed, because a lot of us have been quietly unhappy about aspects since the launch. So, if you're happy with where the game currently stands, cool. Enjoy yourself and ignore the criticism. Just don't tell people to kill themselves, because that's not very justifiable. The reverse, by the way, is also true. If you're unhappy with the game state, talk about it as much as you can, share it around, and beyond all, commit to not spending. But don't attack other people who don't fall in the same basket as you. Genshin has been very, very casual for a long-ass time at this point, and casual fans are pretty content with the game state, and probably would continue to be content if things remained exactly as they are. It's not your right to decide what other people should or shouldn't believe, especially when it comes to something as fucking petty as a video game. Just, in general then, don't be a dick. I think the Genshin community has a major maturity problem, so for those who struggle to understand that everyone has their own positions and perspectives, and for some reason somehow can justify themselves attacking people over their opinions that don't line up, you need to get off the internet and go the fuck outside, because you're in desperate need of some real life experience. Come back when your head is out of your ass and screw it on straight, because currently it clearly isn't. The way a rather large portion of the community consistently acts is genuinely appalling and cretinous. Some of you really need to take long, hard looks in the mirror to realize what you're actually doing, because it's extremely childish and it's worse than pretty much any other community on the planet. Do better. So with all of that, I guess it brings us to myself. What the hell am I going to be doing? Well, I do want to keep playing Genshin to a degree, and I definitely want to keep making content on it. It's just going to be some different content. Guides specifically will continue, but they won't be as common because I'm done spending. I no longer have a Welkin, and I'm not refreshing it. I will not buy any more battle passes, and I definitely will never top up again. As such, getting my hands on every character when they come out just isn't possible, and I'd be relying on other people's accounts, which throws a degree of consistency in my testing out the window. On top of that, I personally don't feel comfortable putting out videos purely based on theory crafting alone, because A, numbers don't really tell the full story in a video game, Navia more than proved that, and B, it would just be so fucking boring to watch if it was all graphs and talking without any gameplay. So, when it comes to guides, as I said, I will be making them. They'll just be on characters I pull for, which will usually mean one of three things. 1, they are meta-defining. 2, they offer something really unique that isn't provided by another character. Or 3, they're hot. What? With that though, there's going to be a lot of space in between guide videos, so that's where some of the new Genshin content is going to come from. Firstly, I'll be starting a purely free-to-play account dedicated to trying to 36 star in as short a time as possible with as little investment as possible. This account will not be re-rolled, and no matter how bad my luck may be, I'll be sticking with it to create as relatable an experience as possible. Hopefully the luck is bad, because that means I can show you kind of how to counter that. Secondly is going to be silly stuff with the main account. I've already got a couple of ideas for this one, but the general gist of these videos is going to be taking less desirable characters and poor teams, throwing them on semi-free-to-play accessible gear, and 36 starring to prove that oftentimes all it takes is investment to make bad characters or teams semi-viable. Finally will be discussion-oriented stuff. There's a lot of things in Genshin I'd really like to talk about, namely things I'm not super happy with, like the state of Geo, the unbalanced state of reactions overall, stuff like that. And I want to probably voice those while actually providing constructive feedback and ideas that I think would push the game in a better direction. Are these videos essentially going to be me screaming into a void? Yes. Yes, they are. But hey, you might end up enjoying me screaming into the void too, so it's worth doing. That brings me to branch out stuff. I'm going to be covering more games and making other types of content too. Some stuff will be guides, some will be video essays, some might be reviews, one will probably end up being a PC build, and that's just some of the things I've potentially got on the horizon. Game-wise, Star Rail is one that's been requested a few times by my community, and once I properly catch up with all the content in that and can do things, I'd definitely like to dive into it more. Wuthering Waves also looks very much up my alley, especially given what seems to be a heavier focus on combat and endgame stuff. I'll also be giving Zenless a try, because even though I'm not satisfied with Genshin a ton at the moment, Hoyo aren't a bad game developer, so to speak. They just make choices I generally end up being unhappy with in certain aspects. On the non-gacha side, Warframe offers a hell of a lot. With Dante Unbound coming out later this month, I think it'll be a great place for me to start covering the game if that's something you're interested in. I'm just gonna have fun with things beyond all and see where it all lands with the community. That being said, this main channel overall will remain mostly dedicated to pushing out high-quality, heavily edited stuff, and because of that, I've made a second channel, or more specifically, repurposed the old Immersive Fish channel, when I was far dumber, far stupider, and far far less jacked than I am now. This one is going to be more dedicated to both stream VODs, because yes, I do plan on streaming again, and dumb shit with mates, because I do a lot of dumb shit with mates, and sometimes it's funny. So that's the core of it. Probably a little different from what you're all expecting, hey? But I think it's necessary to put this out. I don't want to lead you all on about my plans, and I don't want to force you to stick around hoping for content that might not end up coming. I hope you choose to stick around, but of course you don't have to. And with all that being said, that's where I'm probably going to end things. I'll see you in whatever I choose to cook up for next time, I guess. Till then though, make sure you all take it easy.